today it is time for our weekly episode of Am I the Bad Apple? If you've never joined us for this series before, people send in submissions about situations where they're not sure if they acted appropriately or not. They want us to tell them if they were the good apple or the bad apple. I'll read the submission. Right now I'm still going through all the emailed ones, but please stop emailing them. I made a subreddit. It is the little r/am I the bad apple. And once I get through all of these, I'll be looking at the subreddit ones, but please stop emailing. I want them all on the subreddit. But anyways, I then give my opinion whether they're a good apple or a bad apple or a crab apple or whatever. And you guys let me know down in the comments whether you agree with me or whether you don't. I'm also very excited because this is the first video that I am recording on my new camera, in case things look a little bit different. I'm still learning how to use it. I don't know if all the settings are the way that they're supposed to. I literally just took it out of the box and was like, okay, let's record a bad apple video. I don't have the microphone attached to it yet, so I'm really stressing out about what this sound is gonna sound like, but we are doing our best. Before I continue rambling about God knows what, we're gonna get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for tricking the dean into giving me a higher grade? I'm a college student, and at my school, we have a weird numbered art and PE credits that are required to graduate. More than most other colleges. So my senior year, I was in yet another dance class. But this dance class was unique that instead of music, we used a live drummer to dance to the beat of the drum. It was cool, just different. I was also a college athlete, and towards the end of the semester, I received a concussion. I had a doctor's note and everything, and I stayed home for a few days to recover per the doctor's orders. But my dance professor contacted me saying that I was missing too many days, and any additional days I missed would result in a dropped letter grade. I argued that I had a doctor's note for my concussion. I wasn't just missing for no reason. I'm supposed to be out for still a few more days, and I shouldn't even be driving, much less sitting in a room with a drummer. My dance professor wasn't hearing any of it. She insisted that I still come in and sit on the side. So I did. Lo and behold, my concussion symptoms got worse, and I was not able to return to class on the original return date. This time I put my foot down and I told my dance professor that I'm going to be sticking to the doctor's orders and I'm not coming in until I'm cleared. She dropped my grade from an A to a C, and the end of the semester was only a few weeks away. I contacted the dean, who spoke to me like a child and said he'd be more than willing to speak to my mother on the matter. Dude, this is college. I'm literally 21 years old and you want to speak to my mommy? No! I wanted to handle this myself and know that I handled it myself. So I hung up the phone, called him back, and did the best impersonation of my mom that I could muster, telling the dean how ludicrous this entire situation was. I threatened a lawsuit for negligence on both his and the dance professor's part. I threatened to go to the press over this situation, and I chastised him for not only not backing the student, but insisting he discuss the matter with a 21-year-old's mother instead of the student herself. What if the student wasn't on speaking terms with their parents? What if the student didn't have parents? This is an adult, a 21-year-old, not a minor. I was still pretending to be my mom, of course. By the end of the call, I hung up the phone and saw my grade go back up to an A within 20 minutes on the grade portal. I know I would have had the same outcome if my actual mother made the call, but in the moment, I really wanted to do it myself, for myself. If given the chance, I probably would have done the same thing over again. However, part of me wonders if the dishonesty makes me the bad apple here. Ooh, interesting. I don't think she's the bad apple. I don't at all. I think she's the good apple, and there's a few reasons for this. Lying is not a good thing. I'm not promoting lying. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that when it comes to college students, like, the college kids are in control, right? They are adults. They're not minors. They're not under 18. And yes, I know a lot of parents are kind enough to fund college tuition and help with college tuition and things like that, but at the end of the day, they're adults. That's why when a parent calls and asks to see a student's grade, the college won't do it because they're not minors. They aren't obligated to tell the parents anything about how the kid's doing in school. So like for me, if schools aren't even able to like answer parent questions about grades or transcripts or whatever for their child, because again, they're not minors. Legally, it's like not the parent's business. I know a lot of parents are going to be upset by that, but it's true. Like, colleges will not give you information about a child if you call, even if you're their parent. At least all the colleges that like I and my husband and my whole family have been a part of. So if that's the case, it makes absolutely no sense for the dean to say,
hey, I know you have all these medical documents, but I want to talk to your mommy about this.
Like, that makes zero sense to me. There are medical documents saying that this person is concussed. I cannot stand the number of teachers, professors, adults who don't take concussions seriously. Students that have concussions need to be at home doing literally nothing. I cannot tell you the anger that I experienced when I had a kid that I know had a concussion come to school because her science teacher was like, you still have to take this test. No, you don't take the test. You let her redo it. You let her do it another time. Like, what is wrong with you people? These kids can have actual brain damage. These students can suffer from actual brain damage because you think that your test or your dance class is more important? What is wrong with people? I do not blame this college student for doing what they felt they needed to do. Like, she's right. What if this student wasn't on speaking terms with their parents? What if they didn't have parents? And frankly, it's not really the dean's business. She shouldn't have to explain that if that's her situation. And luckily it wasn't. Like she said, that she clearly has her mom in the picture and her mom would have advocated for her, but she shouldn't have had to do that. I don't know. I feel like some people are gonna disagree with me, and I can see where you would, because like, she did lie and that's not okay, but I don't blame her for that. At least for this situation that went on, I don't blame her for that. But I know there's gonna be some people that disagree with me, and I can see why they would. But as always, you know, I'm welcome to like discuss and converse about it civilly, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for keeping my friend from graduating? For some background information, I'm a senior in high school and final grades are due. To pass English and ultimately graduate, you need at least a 60%, and I had a 97, but my friend had a 34. Since I always do well on my assignments, my friend asked if he could see what I turned in for inspiration. He claimed he didn't know what he was supposed to do on the assignment he was missing, and seeing mine would help. I texted him a few screenshots of my projects and assignments, believing he would do nothing more than just look and try to understand the project. Perhaps that was presumptuous of me? A week or so later, I asked him what his grade in English was, and he told me a 71. I was pleasantly surprised he managed to get his grade up so much in such little time. I was genuinely curious, so I asked to see what he turned in that made his grade rise as much as it did. But as I'm looking over his assignments, I realized he's copied every single thing that I showed him. For essays, he's written the same thing as me with the words just slightly rearranged. For projects that required drawings, he drew the exact same images that I did, not even bothering to change them up. He even managed to take personal stories specific to me and my family and turn them into his. I was horrified. Everything I spent hours on, he replicated in a matter of minutes. I called him out on it, and he said the only thing that matters is his grade, that he could have just turned everything in verbatim and not attempted to change it up. But I told him, well, yeah, that's what you did on several assignments anyways. I told him the only difference in our work was his was clearly a lower quality version than mine, and he would regret what he did. The next day, I told my English teacher everything. She apologized for not catching on earlier and told me she'd look into it. I'm not quite sure what she did, but I received an angry text from my friend saying that I ruined his life. Because of me, he's not gonna walk the stage during graduation. He said that what he did wasn't even a big deal and I should have just let it go instead of whining about it to our teacher. He said he hated me. I asked another friend what she thought, and she said that I was in the wrong for turning him in when I could have just gotten him back in a way that didn't involve his future. She said she'd hate me too if she was in his shoes, and that it was partially my fault for showing him the work in the first place. So, am I the bad apple? Oh my, okay, hold on. Boy doesn't do his work. Boy gets a bad grade. Boy steals your work and plagiarizes it. Boy gets caught. Boy can't walk during graduation. And it's your fault? Like, yeah, I get that you told the teacher and all that stuff, but like, those are the consequences of his actions. Plagiarism is not allowed in any version of school, okay? If you pulled that in college, like, you just get kicked out of college. Not, forget the whole, you have to repeat a grade or summer school or whatever, you're just kicked out of school. That's how it works. You can't plagiarize. So he's really mad that you didn't let him get away with ripping off your work. And I know there's gonna be some kids in the comments who disagree with me and are like, oh, but it's his future, blah, blah, blah. Then do the work. Then do the work. The friend could have absolutely said, hey, will you help me understand the assignment? Will you help me do it on my own? But he didn't. He copied the work, in some cases, verbatim. That's not allowed. There are people who spend hours and hours and hours studying, doing assignments, doing homework, doing projects, doing whatever schoolwork they need to. And for someone to feel entitled enough to just say, oh, I know you spent all of this time doing all the work that you were supposed to do, but I would like to just copy it down in a matter of minutes and get an equally decent grade. Like, I know that the guy had a 70, which is a C, and the other guy had an A. Like, I get those are two different grades, but like, if your grade is so low, you have a 34, and you rip off so much work from your friend that you now have a C, that's ridiculous, in my opinion. That friend is the bad apple, 100%. The friend making you feel bad about it is a bad apple, 100%. And I think that you're a good apple. I don't think there was anything wrong that you did. If you feel genuinely upset for this kid that was caught plagiarizing and cheating, I don't know what to tell you, my guy. Why don't you complain about it in the comments some more? It just boosts up my engagement. And also, I do want to say, they turned in the same drawings for projects, and the teacher didn't notice? Okay. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for almost ruining my sister-in-law's prom? I, 25 female, got married to my husband, 24 male, a year ago. He has one little sister, 16 female. I went a little non-traditional with my wedding dress. I got a big light yellow dress and a beautiful strappy top with lace. The dress was gorgeous and of course very expensive. And this was definitely my dream dress. My husband's family isn't particularly well off, but they're certainly not poor or lower income either. So when they told me at a family dinner that they were having trouble finding an affordable dress for my sister-in-law, I was a little surprised. I tried giving some suggestions like looking at eBay, Goodwill, some online websites, etc., etc. In my younger days, I did pageants and we always resold the dresses after at a really good discount. They told me they looked but didn't find anything that she liked. I told them that I really hoped the perfect dress would come up soon. 2 weeks passed and we get invited to dinner again at his parents' house. We show up and immediately his sister starts moping. I assume she had a bad day at school and sat down to eat. Then my mother-in-law explained that she was upset because prom was in 3 days and she still had no dress. I expressed my condolences and told her that I could maybe help her have a last look around. That's when my mother-in-law said, "Oh, I have an idea. Why don't you let your sister-in-law wear your yellow wedding dress? I could probably get it tailored in time." My sister-in-law immediately perked up and I felt like I was ambushed. I looked to my husband, but he just shrugged. I politely told them I'm sorry, but that dress is very special to me. And also, my sister-in-law and I are very different sizes. It would completely fall off of her. My mother-in-law told me she knows a wonderful seamstress who could make it fit, but that really upset me. I asked her, what if I ever wanted to wear it again one day? It wouldn't fit me. Even if I lost as much weight as I could to be as small as my sister-in-law, our busts just aren't the same size. My sister-in-law burst into tears. I'm not sure if it was because of me saying no or if it was because I was talking about our bodies. But regardless, my husband and I ended up leaving early. He said he was very upset with me for not sharing the dress, but ultimately said it was my decision. His family, on the other hand, was very livid with me. They went radio silent until I saw a post of my sister-in-law on Facebook in a beautiful blue dress. I commented saying that I'm so glad she found a dress. She looked great, and I hope she had a really good time. I got a comment back asking for my portion of the dress. They've now told my husband that I'm responsible for either reselling the dress and getting them half their money back since I have experience with that, or helping to pay for the dress itself. Half of it, to be exact. I told them that was ridiculous, but my husband told me to just do it. I told him no, I'm not gonna be pushed over, and he ended up leaving for 3 days to his mom's house. Now I'm no longer invited to family dinners or functions, and they only have nasty things to say about me. They say I almost ruined my sister-in-law's prom. Should I have just let her wear my wedding dress, or at the very least help them sell it? At this point, since my husband's not even on my side, I just don't know. So, am I the bad apple? They want her to wear a wedding dress to her prom? It's prom! This whole idea of like prom and promposals, like it's really getting out of hand, y'all. Being mad that your daughter can't wear a wedding dress. Like I get it, it's not white, it's yellow, but it's still a wedding dress. And let's be honest, like for those of you that have been to a prom sometime in the last few decades, like these teenagers aren't like sipping tea at prom, right? Like, who knows what could get on the dress or what could be spilled on it or if it could, like, I wouldn't let some kid wear my wedding dress to prom either. It's not even your sister, it's your sister-in-law. It's not even your parents demanding what you do with your dress that you paid for and that was not only a lot of money but super sentimental to you. No! I wouldn't do it either. And it's not your job to help them resell it. Now, like, you could tell them how, show them how, but it's not your job to do it. It's not that hard to Google how to resell dress on internet. Like, Google's your friend. And to be completely honest, if your husband is running off to mommy's house because you wouldn't let his little sister play dress up in your wedding dress, dodge the bullet. Run. Avery would never. I cannot imagine a situation where Avery, 1, tried to force me to do something that I didn't want to do, but 2, tried to force me to do something his family wanted me to do that I didn't want to do, and 3, run away for 3 days because I didn't do what his family wanted me to do. Girl, you better put that crown back on your head and walk with your head high out of that house. If that's how they're gonna villainize you over a dress for prom. For prom? Really? This is junior prom. Who knows what they're gonna expect for you for senior prom? Oh, the humanity. I don't even wanna think about it. You just, girl, I would be running so quick. So quick. And it's not even like this situation is a big deal. It's not. That's the problem. They are literally villainizing you because you don't want your wedding dress to be used for dress up for one night for a teenager. In ruins that you can never wear it again. Like, you're right, you'll never be able to wear it again. You are the good apple, your husband's a bad apple, his whole family's a bad apple, like all of them. And where did that blue dress come from? Like it just out of thin air? Like did they have that the whole time? I feel like they did. I feel like they had it the whole time. Ugh. Apple number 4, am I the bad apple for outsmarting my teacher? During the last day of 8th grade, we didn't do much in class. All of the testing was done, so we weren't having regular classes. There was literally nothing left to learn. Most of our teachers just let us sign yearbooks before we all went off to high school. In my math class, we were doing just that, signing yearbooks. I pulled out my phone to text a friend, and the teacher automatically started freaking out that I have my phone out. She pulls me into the hallway and tells me that I should know better than to have my phone out in class, and just because it's the last day didn't mean that I could break the rules. I told her, I don't mean to be rude, but we aren't learning anything. Everyone's just signing yearbooks. It's not like I'm interrupting her lesson, so I don't understand why during the last 10 minutes of the last day of school, she's so upset that I'm texting my friend. She told me that talking back was disrespectful, that I just needed to put my phone away. Honestly, I didn't really care if I upset this teacher. This was the last 10 minutes of the last day I would ever spend at that school. So I went back to my seat, pulled out my phone to finish the text I was sending, and immediately the teacher starts screeching my name again to get back into the hallway and to bring my phone this time. She asked, "Did you already forget what I told you? No phones. I can't believe you're so disrespectful. If you want to be on your phone so badly, you can call your mom right now and tell her what you did." The teacher just stood in front of me. She didn't even move to check to see who I was calling on the phone. So I clicked on my friend in the class's contact info because I knew she didn't have her voicemail set up. I called the number and put it on speaker when the automated voice said, "The number you have dialed is unavailable," and just said whatever it was that the teacher wanted me to say. The teacher at the end made sure to insert her own 2 cents about how awful I am at the end, and it took everything in me not to burst out laughing, because again, it's just going to my friend's voicemail. When we went back into the room, I told my friend what happened and that she should have a voicemail and could just delete it whenever. The bell rang, we left, and I never saw that teacher again, but sometimes I think about it and feel guilty for lying. So, am I the bad apple? So, to start things off, I definitely do think that the teacher is a bad apple in this case. I cannot stand teachers who just like their whole being is like anti-phones in class. Like, let's be smart. These are teenagers. They're going to be on your phone. So like come up with a system to where it just doesn't mess up your lesson. Like for me, if I'm talking in front of the kids, they know no phones. Like that's rude. Just like I tell them, you know, if you came up and asked me a question and I just pulled out my phone and started texting and wasn't paying attention to you, that wouldn't feel good. So like when I'm at the front talking, don't be on your phone. But when you're working at your desk or when it's like a couple minutes before the bell rings, I don't care if you pull out your phone and send a quick text and put it away. I don't care if you listen to music. Now, like if it becomes a problem and you're not doing your work, that's gonna be a different story and you might lose some of those privileges. But if you can be responsible and like send a text or two while you're getting your work done, I don't care. And if we're all packed up and class is over, I don't care. When all you do is like, no phones ever, I can't ever see them, like they're just gonna get on them anyways. Like they're not gonna care. And like this was the last day. They're signing yearbooks. What does it matter if they're on their phone? Who cares? I don't really blame the kid for having that kind of attitude of not caring. I don't think the kid is a bad apple for being on their phone. So I'm not going to give them the bad apple label. However, I don't necessarily like what happened when they were caught. Look, not every rule that's in place is going to be a good rule, okay? And if you plan on standing up to that rule, own up to it if you get caught. If it's such a ridiculous rule, why not just explain that to your mom? When you lie to hide it, it almost makes it seem like you're like hiding something important. Were you learning anything? Were you just signing yearbooks? I mean, I'm gonna take your word for it that you were, but when you lie, like it just looks like you're trying to hide something. So I don't know if I'm gonna give you the good apple tag either. I think I'll go with crab apple. And I know there's gonna be some people in the comments that are like, oh, but you were okay with the girl in the first storyline. To me, those are two completely different situations, okay? We have a girl who has medical documentation saying, hey, I can't do this. The school ignoring that and telling her to include a third party that legally doesn't have any business being in there. This kid, who's a minor, whose mom very much so has business being involved in school issues, broke a rule for no reason other than the fact that they thought it was a dumb rule, which it was a dumb rule, but they still broke a rule, didn't want to get in trouble, and just lied about it. Okay, so to recap, the votes for me are 3 good apples and 1 crab apple. That is what I got, and I really want to know what you guys got, so definitely let me know down in the comments. Before we end, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell down at the bottom so that you can be notified of next week's video, which will also be on my new camera. Keep sending me your stories, keep telling me your opinions, and I will see you guys next week for Am I the Bad Apple, episode 15. Also, heads up, I might not title it Am I the Bad Apple just to like make it more clickable. We'll see. So if you're looking for it, it just might not be titled Am I the Bad Apple on YouTube. Just a heads up. Oh, and one more thing before we go. If you haven't noticed, I am wearing one of my I don't get paid enough shirts. I know everyone's been waiting for it, and I announced that I had them a little while ago, but apparently a lot of people missed the announcement. So if you want an I don't get paid enough tank top, t-shirt, sweatshirt, I have them. I will put a little link in the bio and in a pinned comment, and I'll try to put on my community tab. I will make sure you have access, and I hope you guys like them. There's a lot of different colors in tank tops and t-shirts and sweatshirts. There's just a lot. So I hope you love them. Mwah. Bye for real this time.